Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Mimi Wu, and I'm a nutritionist with the Nutrition Education, Training, and Technical Assistance Division in Child Nutrition Programs at the U.S. Department of Agriculture's Food and Nutrition Service. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar on crediting single-serving packages of grains in the Child and Adult Care Food Program, which is also known as the CACFP. This webinar is part of Team Nutrition's CACFP Halftime 30 on Thursdays webinar series. This webinar is being recorded and will be made available at a later date on the Team Nutrition website. We will have time at the end of this webinar to take questions. You can use the chat box at any time during the webinar to enter your questions, and we will try to answer as many as we can at the end of the webinar. So today's webinar focuses on one of the resources that you see on the screen, the Crediting Single-Serving Packages of Grains in the CACFP worksheet on the left. This worksheet is for CACFP operators who want to serve single-serving or individually wrapped packages of grains as part of a reimbursable CACFP meal or snack. These packages may also be commonly known as snack packs. Team Nutrition does have other worksheets to show how grain items that are not sold as single-serving packages can be credited in the CACFP. You can see these worksheets on the right side of the screen, and we will show you how to find these worksheets and other tools at the end of today's presentation. So, as many of you might know, by October 1st, 2021, so October of next year, amounts of grains at CACFP meals and snacks will be credited using a unit of measure known as ounce equivalents. 1 ounce equivalent of grains is the amount of food you need in order to provide 16 grams of grains. Not all grain items contain the same amount of grain per item, so you might need more or less of a grain item to get 16 grams of grain. So for example, 0.8 ounces of savory crackers, such as cheese crackers or whole wheat crackers, contain 16 grams of grain. So you need to serve a package of crackers that weighs 0.8 ounces in order to provide 1 ounce equivalent of grain. Another example might be toasted oats cereal. It takes 1 ounce of toasted oats cereal to provide 16 grams of grains. So you might need to serve a package of toasted oats cereal that weighs 1 ounce in order to provide 1 ounce equivalent of grains. Finally, it takes 2 ounces of a blueberry muffin to provide 16 grams of grains. So your package of blueberry muffins needs to weigh 2 ounces in order to provide 1 ounce equivalent of grains. So let's take a closer look now at the crediting single-serving packages of grains in the CACFP worksheet. This worksheet was included in the reminder email that you should have received yesterday and today. We will also send out a link where you can download this worksheet in the chat box. The first page of this worksheet starts out with an explanation and examples of what and how much food you need to provide 1 ounce equivalent of grains. Pages 2 and 3 of this worksheet includes the grains measuring chart for single-serving packages. So this chart contains grain items that might commonly be served as single-serving packages at CACFP meals and snacks, such as single-serving boxes or bowls of cereal, individually wrapped muffins, snack-sized bags of pretzels, popcorn, and more. Items are listed in alphabetical order. Next to the list of grain items, you will find the number of packages needed for a half-ounce equivalent of grains, which is the minimum amount of grains required at meals and snacks for children ages 1 through 5 years old. The chart also shows the number of packages you need to serve 1 ounce equivalent of grains, which is the minimum amount of grains required for 6 through 18-year-olds at all CACFP meals and snacks. If you're serving grains to adult participants as part of a reimbursable snack, you must serve 1 ounce equivalent of grains as well. For adult participants at breakfast, lunch, and supper, the minimum grains requirement is 2-ounce equivalent of grains. This is also shown in the chart. Instructions on how to use these charts are on page 2 of the worksheet, so let's take a closer look at these instructions now. The first step is to find your item under the grain, item, and package weight column, which is the column that is outlined in pink on the screen in front of you. So for this example, let's say we want to serve ready-to-eat cereal, such as Toasted O's cereal. We find cereal, ready-to-eat, all types in the chart. Step 2 mentions that each item on the chart lists a minimum package weight by the name of the item. For ready-to-eat cereal, the minimum weight is 28 grams or 1 ounce. This means that the package of cereal we serve needs to weigh at least 28 grams or 1 ounce in order for us to use this chart. So let's take a look at the cereal we want to serve and see if there's a weight written on the package. So to do that, we can look at the front or top of the package. Most of the time, this is where you will find the weight of the package. So here we see that this package of cereal weighs 1 ounce or 28 grams, and you can see this circled in blue. So now that we know the weight of our package, we compare it to the minimum weight written in the grains measuring chart. So this cereal weighs 1 ounce or 28 grams. The grains measuring chart says the package of cereal must weigh at least 28 grams or 1 ounce in order to use the grains measuring chart. Because this package of cereal is the same weight as the weight written on the chart, this means we can use the grains measuring chart to determine how many packages of this cereal to serve at CACFP Meals and Snacks. So let's do that now. In order to see how much to serve, we look at step 3. Step 3 asks us to find the column for the age group of the participants and the meal and snack you are serving. So let's say we want to serve this cereal at breakfast to 4-year-olds. We would find the column for 1 through 5-year-olds, which is outlined in green on the screen in front of you. Where this column intersects with or meets the cereal row, that tells us we need to serve at least half of this package to each 4-year-old in order to meet the minimum requirements in the CACFP. Remember that half a package is the minimum, so you can definitely serve the entire package to the 4-year-old as well. We have heard from sponsoring organizations and providers that they will often split up packages of single-serving grains and serve that package to more than one child. So now let's put all of this information into practice with a try-it-out polling question. Let's read this question together, and then you can click on the correct answer in the poll on the side of your screen. So this question says, you want to serve croissants at breakfast to 3-year-olds at your child care center. You find packages of brand C croissants, which are shown on the right of the screen. Look at the package and find where the weight of the package is written. Can you use the grains measuring chart to determine how many packages of brand C croissants to serve? Go ahead and click on the correct answer in the poll on the side of your screen, and don't forget to click Submit at the bottom. If you're unable to select or submit an answer, you can also just type your answer into the chat box. So go ahead and do that now. Okay, I'm going to give you all a few more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, let's see. All right, nice work, everyone. The answer is yes. To get this answer, first we find croissants in the grains measuring chart. Croissants are listed in the chart on page 3 of the worksheet. This is also shown on the left side of the screen. Under croissant, the minimum weight of at least 34 grams or 1.2 ounces is listed. This tells us that packages of croissants need to weigh at least 34 grams or 1.2 ounces in order to use the grains measuring chart. So looking at the front of the croissant package, we see that each package weighs 1.2 ounces or 34 grams. This package of croissants weighs the same amount as the minimum weight written on the chart. So now we know we can use the grains measuring chart to see how many packages to serve. So now that we know we can use the grains measuring chart to figure out how many brand C croissants to serve, let's do another try it out. Take a look at your grains measuring chart and tell me how many packages of brand C croissants you need to serve in order to meet the grains requirement for 3-year-olds at breakfast. Do you need to serve 1/4 of a package, half of a package, 1.2 packages, or 2 packages? Choose the minimum amount of brand C croissants you need. Go ahead and click on the correct answer in the poll on the side of your screen, and don't forget to click Submit at the bottom. Again, if you're unable to select or submit an answer, you can also just type your answer into the chat box. So go ahead and do that now. Okay, I see a lot of great answers coming in. I'm going to give you all a few more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, nice work, everyone. So the answer is half a package. You need to serve at least a half package of brand C croissants to meet grains requirements for 3-year-olds at breakfast. So let's take a look now at how we got that answer. First, we find croissants in the grains measuring chart on page 3 of the worksheet. This row is outlined in pink on the screen. Next, we find the age group and meal we are serving. Because we're serving 3-year-olds at breakfast, we can use the column for 1 through 5-year-olds at breakfast, lunch, supper, and snack. This column is outlined in green on the screen. Where the pink croissant row and green 1 through 5-year-olds column meet, that tells us we need to serve at least half a package of croissants to meet minimum grains requirements in the CACFP. Again, remember that half a package is the minimum, so you can serve more than half a package. Nice work, everyone. So many times, single serving packages will have the weight of the package written on the front of it, like the breakfast cereal we looked at earlier, the package of croissants we just looked at, or this bag of brand P pretzels shown on the screen. Sometimes you can also use the nutrition facts label to find the weight of the package. The nutrition facts label for brand P heart pretzels is shown on the right side of the screen. So to use the nutrition facts label to find the weight of the package, first let's look at the serving size line. The serving size should say 1 package as shown in the yellow rectangle on the screen. Sometimes, instead of 1 package, it might say 1 bag, 1 pouch, 1 container, etc. If the serving size is less than 1 package, such as like a half package or a 1/4 package, then you will need to take additional steps or use another method to determine how many packages of that item to serve. So once you verify that the package size is 1 package, look at the weight written next to it on the nutrition facts label. So for example, we know that this package of pretzels weighs 28 grams. Now that we found the weight of the package, let's make sure we can use the grains measuring chart to see how many packages of these pretzels to serve. Let's do that together now with a try it out polling question. So this question says, do you want to serve a package of brand P hard pretzels at snack to 8-year-olds? The nutrition facts label for a package of brand P hard pretzels is shown on the right side of the screen. Looking at the information on the nutrition facts label, can you use the grains measuring chart to determine how many packages of brand P hard pretzels to serve? So go ahead and click on the correct answer in the poll on the side of your screen, and don't forget to click Submit at the bottom. If you are unable to select or submit an answer, again, you can also just type your answer into the chat box. So go ahead and do that now. Okay, I see some great answers coming in. I'm going to give you all just a few more seconds here. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, everyone, nice work. The answer is yes. You can use the grains measuring chart to determine how many packages of brand P heart pretzels to serve. To get this answer, first we find pretzels hard in the grains measuring chart. This is listed on page 3 of the worksheet. Again, this is also shown on the left side of your screen. Under pretzels hard, the minimum weight of at least 22 grams or 0.8 ounces is listed. This tells us that packages of hard pretzels need to weigh at least 22 grams or 0.8 ounces in order to use the grains measuring chart. So now looking at the nutrition facts label for brand P hard pretzels, we see that one package weighs 28 grams. 28 grams is more than 22 grams, so we know we can use the grains measuring chart to determine how many pretzels to serve. And so now that we know we can use the grains measuring chart to figure out how many brand P hard pretzels to serve, let's do another try it out. So take a look now at your grains measuring chart and tell me how many packages of brand P hard pretzels you need to serve in order to meet the grains requirement for 8-year-olds at snack. Do you need a fourth of a package, half of a package, one package, or two packages? Choose the minimum amount of brand P hard pretzels you need. Again, go ahead and click on the correct answer in the poll and click submit at the bottom. As always, if you can't select or submit an answer, you can just go ahead and type your answer into the chat box. So go ahead and do that now. Okay, I'm going to give you all a few more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right. Nice work, everyone. The answer is one package. You need to serve at least one package of brand P hard pretzels to meet grains requirements for 8-year-olds at snack. So let's take a look now at how we got that answer. So first, we find pretzels hard in the grains measuring chart, which is on page 3 of the worksheet. This row is outlined in pink on the screen. Then we find the age group and meal we are serving. Because we're serving 8-year-olds at snack, we can use the column for 6 through 18-year-olds at breakfast, lunch, supper, and snack. This column is outlined in green on the screen. For the pink hard pretzel row and green 6 through 18-year-old columns meet, that tells us we need to serve at least one package of brand P hard pretzels to meet minimum grains requirements in the CACFP. Again, remember that one package is the minimum, so you can serve more than one package. Nice work, everyone. Okay, everyone, one last try it out polling question before we wrap up. So our last try it out question says, you want to serve brand S savory crackers at supper to adult participants. The nutrition facts label for a package of brand S savory crackers is shown on the right. Can you use the grains measuring chart to determine how many packages of brand S savory crackers to serve? Go ahead and click on the correct answer in the poll on the side of your screen, and don't forget to click submit at the bottom. Again, if you're unable to select or submit an answer, just go ahead and type your answer into the chat box. Go ahead and do that now. Okay, I'm going to give you guys a few more seconds here. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, everyone, nice work. So the answer is no. You cannot use the grains measuring chart to determine how many packages of brand S savory crackers to serve. So we know this answer is no, and to get this answer, first we find crackers savory in the grains measuring chart. This is listed on page 3 of the worksheet and is also shown on the left side of the screen. Under crackers savory, the minimum weight of at least 22 grams or 0.8 ounces is listed. This tells us that packages of savory crackers need to weigh at least 22 grams or 0.8 ounces in order to use the grains measuring chart. So looking at the nutrition facts label for brand S savory crackers, we see that one package or one pouch of these crackers weighs 21 grams. 21 grams is less than 22 grams, so we know we cannot use the grains measuring chart to determine how many crackers to serve. So now you might be wondering, well, what tools could you use instead of discrediting single serving packages of grains in the CACFP worksheet? We will talk about some tools in just a second, But first, let's talk about when we would want to use these tools. So you can use these tools if the package is smaller or lighter than what's listed on the grains measuring chart, like the example we just did with those brand savory crackers. You can also use these tools if the serving size on the nutrition facts label is less than one package, such as a quarter package or a half package, and you cannot find the weight of the package listed anywhere. These tools can also be used if the item you are serving is not listed on the grains measuring chart, or you want to serve a grain to meet part of the grains requirement, such as a half-ounce equivalent or 3/4 ounce equivalent. Additionally, while you could use the chart with grain items that are larger or heavier than what's listed on the chart, if you wanted to serve exactly what was required in the CACFP meal pattern, that might be another time you choose to use a different tool. So, one of the tools you might use is the using ounce equivalents for grains in the CACFP worksheet, which lists over 40 grain items that might be commonly served, including a variety of crackers, breads, etc. You can use this worksheet for items that are in single serving packages, as well as for items that are in larger packages. There is also a recorded CACFP halftime webinar that shows you how to use this worksheet, as well as a slide deck that you can download and use for future trainings. You could also use Team Nutrition's calculating ounce equivalents in the CACFP worksheet as shown on the screen. This worksheet shows you how to use the information from the item's nutrition facts label to hand calculate the amount of the item, such as the number of crackers, slices of bread, etc. you need to serve the minimum required amounts of grains in the CACFP. Finally, you could also use the Exhibit A Grains tool. This tool is part of the Food Buying Guide for Child Nutrition Programs and will calculate the amount of grains you need to serve to meet minimum amounts of grains in the CACFP based on the information on the item's nutrition facts label. Team Nutrition has 2 recorded webinars on how to use this tool, and there are also guides and tutorials within the tool that show you how to use it. You can find these resources on Team Nutrition's new CACFP Grains Ounce Equivalents Resources webpage. The web address is written in the yellow box on the top right of your screen, and we will also send you these links in your post-webinar email. So this concludes the informational part of our webinar today, and we will definitely answer your questions in just a second. After this webinar, we recommend that you try the Try It Out practice questions shown on page 6 of the worksheet. You can find the answer key on page 5. You can also find more practice questions at the National CACFP Sponsors Association website at cacfp.org 30 on Thursdays. You can also submit or track continuing education credits with NCA at that link. We also recommend that you visit the Team Nutrition CACFP Grains Ounce Equivalents Resources webpage at the URL listed on the screen. And finally, we recommend that you watch your inbox for a post-webinar email that includes your certificate of participation. You should receive this on Tuesday, December 1st, 2020. Please wait until after December 1st, 2020 to ask about your certificates and check your spam and junk folders. If you're viewing this webinar with multiple people, you can also just print a certificate for each person. And finally, if you're a sponsoring organization or independent center, you can sign up to become a Team Nutrition CACFP organization. If you're at a center or home under a sponsor, we encourage you to make sure your sponsor has signed up as a Team Nutrition CACFP organization. Enrollment is free, and members have the opportunity to network with peers, share ideas, and receive exclusive promotional materials. And now we will take some questions. So on the webinar with me today is my colleague, Katie Hallis, who is also with Child Nutrition Programs. Katie will be helping me with asking and answering your questions.
Great. Thank you, Mimi. That was a great presentation. So I see we have a few questions here. The first one is, do I need to start using grains ounce equivalents now?
So that is a great question. Thank you to whoever asked that. So the answer is, so by October 1st, 2021, so October of next year, amounts of grains at CACFP meals and snacks will be credited using ounce equivalents instead of servings. So while this means that, yes, you still have time before you have to use ounce equivalents for grains, we definitely encourage you to start practicing this now so that you can be ready to go on October 1st, 2021.
All right, thank you. Our second question here, we serve children ages 3 through 18 at our after-school site. If you go back to your example about croissants, so earlier in the presentation, can we just give everyone one package of croissants at snack?
Okay, so yeah, that's another great question. So in that example, we wanted to see how many packages of croissants we should serve 3-year-olds in order to meet minimum requirements, and the answer was half a package. If you look at the column for 6 through 18-year-olds, you'd see that the minimum amount required is 1 package. So again, because these are minimum amounts, you could serve 1 package of croissants to everyone, so both the younger kids in the 1 through 5 years old age group and the older kids, and that would meet the minimum amount of grains required when serving grains at snack.
Great, thank you. Another one here, one of the examples you gave in the webinar was on toasted O's cereal. Don't we also have to look at the amount of sugar on cereal packages too?
Great. So whoever asked that, you're absolutely right, and thank you for reminding us about the CACFP sugar limits for cereal. So while today we just focused on how single serving packages credit toward grains ounce equivalent requirements, you do also need to pay attention to the sugar content of cereals as well. So when choosing a breakfast cereal to serve, make sure that it does not have more than 6 grams of cereal per dry ounce. And that's for cereals that are ready to eat, like toasted O's, as well as cereals you might have to cook, like oatmeal. Again, the limit is no more than 6 grams of sugar per dry ounce. Team Nutrition does have a worksheet, recorded webinar, and training slides that show you how to determine if a cereal meets the CACFP sugar limit. We can send these links out to these resources in the post-webinar email.
All right, thank you, Mimi. That looks like that's all the time we have for today, so thank you all for your questions, and I'll send it back over to you, Mimi, to close us out.
Great. Thanks, Katie. So again, thank you all. I echo Katie. Thank you all for your questions. If you have more questions or need more clarification on anything we talked about today, please contact your state agency or sponsoring organization. Please know that we do read all your questions and comments, as well as the comments in the post-webinar survey, in order to make sure our materials meet your needs. Also, we wanted to let you know that on Tuesday, November 24th, we will be releasing a collection of USDA standardized recipes for the CACFP in Spanish. Keep an eye on our Twitter handle or sign up for our Team Nutrition newsletter to be one of the first to know when these recipes are released. So with that, thank you all again for spending time with us today. We hope to see you at our next CACFP halftime webinar on Thursday, January 21st, 2021, on using the nutrition facts label in the CACFP. Registration for this webinar will open on December 17th. Have a great rest of your day.